Hey y'all, what's up? It's your boy, P Nut, coming at you with a reaction. And before we get into this, welcome to the Peanut Gallery, y'all. And today we'll be reacting to one of the latest vids from Don himself, man. Cage, the Don. When Zabuza almost bodied Kakashi, but Naruto and Sasuke immediately got back for their sensei. Enough talk. Let's get into this.
Okay, so boom! The scene kicks off with Kakashi, Naruto, and Sasuke walking through.
Wait, isn't Sakura right?
Don't
That
matter.
Sakura versus Sorcery bit has been giving me hell. We're not mentioning her today. The four of them are out here escorting this fraudulent old man back to his village. To sum it up, this man basically pleased the leaf talking about some, I just need a simple escort. The whole time, the whole Phantom Troop is after him. This is like if someone hired you to lightly clean their house and you show up to this.
Oh, hell no. Nope.
Imagine
Give me my money.
I'm
not wasting my time. That's insane.
The Flash couldn't clean this if you gave him 12 years to do it. Go ahead and sell that house as is. Kakashi,
that's crazy, and the Flash is fast as hell.
Danger that lurked ahead was
ain't no way I'm wasting my time with that.
When Naruto is startled by a bunny, convinced that someone is following them. Everybody in the group proceeds to cook him, but Kakashi realizes that something truly is off. Apparently, these white snow bunnies aren't. No, not those ones. These white bunny rabbits are not native to the forest that they're in.
This is the rabbit we're talking about now.
It's a snow rabbit, but the color, they only have white fur during winter.
Okay, Coyote Peterson, take us to school then. Kakashi, now visibly aware of the stalker's presence, leaves him with no choice but to reveal himself. So in the most extra way possible, this nigga whips his giant blade into a tree, then teleports onto the handle, hitting these chumps with a cold over-the-shoulder glare.
That's crazy, like over-shoulder pass.
You are just a hater, but so am I. I see the receding corners, nigga. Don't try and hide it with the headband. Father time is coming for us all.
Oh,
still
Lord,
that's
his hairline, hair loss.
Just admiring the drip. Eat the limited edition Gucci clown pants.
Yup.
Fashion Nova cow print arm and leg warmers. And a random seatbelt wrapped around his chest.
It looks like one.
Just for fashion.
Oh,
He's
Lord.
stepping like Zabuza. Kakashi can clearly feel the immense amount of aura coming off of Zabuza's chiseled 6-foot frame. So he tells his squad to get back and pulls out his iconic Sharingan for the first time in Naruto history.
Yup, I remember this.
The whole squad looking shook. Look at Naruto's face, nigga thought his eye was bleeding. But Sasuke, on the other hand, did not have a face of shock. That boy looked disgusted. He was ready to put the balls on him immediately. He knows that the Sharingan is a powerful visual prowess only native to his clan. So how the hell did this gray-haired poser get a hold of one? Before he could go over there and snatch it back in the name of his clan, Zabuza and Kakashi commenced the mandatory powerful opponent blades.
Yep.
Zabuza, rogue ninja of the hidden mist. Well, my golly, isn't it Kakashi of the Sharingan Eye?
He lighting each other up.
Zabuza finally decides he's had enough of the back and forth, so he kicks off the fight by fogging up the forest with some mist. He then announces that the old man's life will be coming to an end, but Kakashi and his squad refuse to let that happen. So they quickly get into formation and pull out their kunais to put their lives on the line for him. And I cannot lie, those are some honorable ninjas.
Right.
But honor doesn't pay the bills.
Facts.
This mission is already starting to look much more troublesome than anticipated. So if that were me, the old man would definitely have to come up off a few more yen for any more protection. Zabuza quickly realizes he won't be able to get to the old man without Kakashi interfering, which leaves him with no choice but to take him out. So he jumps off the tree with lightning speed, and with the decrease in clarity that the mist has caused, they are clueless as to where Zabuza went. But after a few seconds, they begin to hear the water beside them swirl. And that's when we see this nigga Zabuza hitting this 1, 2, 3 eyes on me ass pose. I know every elementary teacher has hit this pose at least once in their career.
Yup.
You guys can keep talking.
Quiet.
Wait. Ass pose.
Yup, he
Moroka
trying for the
is getting
Genji
out of hand.
tryouts,
After
man.
making sure he's got the class's full attention, he hits them with his ninja art hidden miss jutsu and vanishes in thin air. Kakashi then fills them in on the threat at hand, telling them that Zabuza was an ex-leader of the hidden miss assassination unit, known for his mastery of the silent killing technique. And as those last 3 words rolled off Kakashi's tongue, I know Sakura and Sasuke must have started smelling a nasty poop-like odor in their general vicinity because Naruto's moving like he just shat his pants. That
Oh,
boy
Lord.
is stuttering and stammering, talking about some
Silent?
and that's when Kakashi makes it even worse by saying that the killing happens in an instant without a sign or warning.
It's so
So pretty much a
fast
hit
you
and
pass
run.
from this life without realizing what has happened.
Now, they're all breathing hard as hell, sounding like me after climbing a flight of steps. Yes, nigga, it's been a long winter. I've been eating well. And to make matters worse, the mist
Honesty is the
begins
best
to get on
policy.
its scissor-type timing and slowly starts to get thicker and thicker. So that is when Kakashi really locks
Shout out
in,
to Silly
trying
Thick
his best
Self.
to anticipate Zabuza's next move. But instead of taking a page out of Kakashi's book, this boy Sasuke is shook to his core, talking pure nonsense.
Rubbish.
This, I'll go insane. It's as if my own life is being choked off. No, I can't bear it. I'd rather take my own life.
Then
Oh,
he
Lord.
proceeds to lift his kunai ready to self-delete. This has to be the most pussy punk move I've ever seen in my life. They didn't even start throwing hands yet, and he's already scared. I couldn't even see
Terrified.
Sakura pulling some
Terrified.
junk like this. I would love to see how the Sasuke Glazers defend this one.
Right.
Time's up, nigga. You failed the test. There was nothing you could have put down that would have justified it. Thankfully for him, Kakashi snaps him back into reality, letting him know that he's got this. He plans on protecting them with his life.
Of
Talking about
course.
some
I will not allow my comrades to die.
oh, really? Is that so? Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, just as Sasuke
Yeah,
and
we
the
already
rest
know
of the
about the
group were
Obito
beginning
situation.
to ease their
And
nerves, this
the shorty.
demon Zabuza suddenly appears in the middle of Team 7's formation. And by
That's
the looks
insane,
of it, they
bro.
are all cooked. One 360 spin with that giant sword will have them all split in two. But
Right.
that man Kakashi somehow manages to sprint over there just in time and put a kunai to his gut.
Crazy.
Now, from the sheer sound of that wound, I was ready to start celebrating. Do y'all hear that? That boy is leaking that cranberry juice. But once the camera panned down, we see that it wasn't blood being spilt, but instead water. Simply meaning
Crazy.
that this was just a water clone. And just as Kakashi realized that this wasn't the real Zabuza, the actual Zabuza cocks back his sword and sliced that man in half. But if you know anything about Kakashi, that man is always playing chess while his opponent is playing checkers. So to Zabuza's surprise, Kakashi hit him with a water clone himself. And before Zabuza could formulate a counter, Kakashi popped up behind him
He
with
on
a
you
kunai
already.
pointed to his neck, talking about some.
Now it's over.
And now everyone is celebrating like the job is finished. And this is where me and Kakashi are a little different. Because with a threat like this, I'm going for the kill every time.
Get him out of here.
I do not play that comeback shit. There's nothing I hate more than blowing a lead. But it honestly wouldn't have mattered anyway. Because this man Zabuza is much smarter than they thought. He peeped Kakashi copying his water clone jutsu when he was making his speech. Then hide in the forest to catch the real him. So this man made another clone to counter his counter. And now he's behind
countering
Kakashi
each
talking that
other.
hot junk in his ear. And before Kakashi could even turn around, Zabuza was already swinging that sword right at his neck. Kakashi then ducked under it, but as if that was a part of his plan. He dug his sword into the ground with one fluid motion, switched his hand on the handle, then used it as support to send this devastating kick straight to Kakashi's chin, sending him flying through the air like a shooting star. Before Kakashi could even land, Zabuza grabbed his giant sword and started hawking this man down. Look at the speed at which he is moving. And to further show off the athleticism, he notices some spikes placed on the ground by Kakashi and stops on a dime to avoid them. Kakashi then plunges into the water, hoping to hide under it long enough to formulate his next move. But he quickly realizes that the water is a bit off, claiming that it's much more dense than normal. And this is when Zabuza zips over to him and hits him with the water prison jutsu. And just like that, the the tides have completely turned.
Yo, it
Zabuza
shifted.
then boots up another water clone jutsu to take care of the rest of these brats, and this is when he starts to kill their morale even more, telling them that wearing a headband doesn't make you a ninja. It's only when you've hovered between life and death so many times that you have earned the title ninja. And to be very honest, he is not wrong.
He
Zabuza's
cooking.
clone then quickly vanishes into the air, then wastes no time clapping the
Sit your
headband
butt
off
down.
of Naruto's head. And to disrespect him even more, he steps on the headband to double down on how insignificant it really is. After watching Naruto get flung in the air, Kakashi decides he's seen enough and determines that their best option is to run away out of reach from the clone, as the clone can only go
Goodbye
so
to
far
his
away
foot,
from
ankle,
Zabuza's real
hamstring,
body.
everything.
But in an odd turn of events, Sasuke says to himself, "Run away."
Not an option.
Like the nigga wasn't just ready to reunite with his pops, Sasuke then
Wow,
determines that their
that's
best
a
chance of
crazy
survival
strain,
involves them
but
freeing
he ain't
Kakashi
lying.
from the water prison. So with little to no hesitation, he begins to run at Zabuza's clone and proceeds to chuck a bunch of kunais at him. Zabuza easily backs them back at him, so Sasuke jumps to dodge them, then tries to put his kunai into Zabuza's dome. But without breaking a sweat, Zabuza grabs that boy out the air by his neck, then tosses Sasuke, sending him rolling across the ground like a
stupid
softball.
ass.
Seeing what Zabuza just did to Sasuke has Naruto spooked, so he tries to get up and make a beeline back to the village. But while trying to get up, he felt a sharp pain in his hand from his self-inflicted wound. And that is when he remembered the pledge he made to himself to never run away again. After Sasuke saved his behind against these two no-names earlier in the mission. This memory then triggers a whole sequence of flashbacks, which is crazy to me because we're on episode 9. What the fuck is there really to flashback to? Reminds me of when my
Nothing
cousin
really
told me he used to
happened.
play Mario Kart when he was young. Mind you, the nigga is 6 years old. How much younger are we talking? You just got here. Nonetheless, the flashback seemed to do the trick.
There's nothing
Because
to flashback
now he's
to.
running towards Zabuza full speed while yelling like an idiot. And I would like to keep emphasizing that this is OG Naruto. So this nigga really had no bag.
Yeah,
Not
he
a
really
duffel
trash.
bag, not a backpack, not even a grocery store bag.
Damn,
That boy had a
that's
Ziploc bag
horrible.
at best, and it wasn't even name brand. So charging at Zabuza at this point in time was
Knockoff.
basically a death wish, but I still had faith in him. Naruto, of course, gets flicked back like a booger, and we obviously knew this was stupid of him to
Nice
do. But
pun.
listen to this S-tier hating ass, glazing ass
Oh.
after this blow.
What are you thinking, charging at him by yourself? Even Sasuke couldn't get to him!
Bitch.
Damn.
Stop. He's not gonna choose you. You are two-hand bear hugging his nuts right now.
Damn,
Can you
she
hop up
riding,
and let
boy.
him breathe, please? Naruto, clearly shaken up by
Straight
that head,
riding.
begins to tremble. But that is when we see that nigga didn't charge in to do any damage. He charged in to get his headband back. Because
Okay.
he will not tolerate anybody disrespecting the leader.
Yup.
Okay, Naruto, that is how you stand on
Business.
The skill gap might be insane, but so are the levels of heart and determination, and Naruto stands alone at the top.
Yup.
Now he's rallying up the troops, telling them that they gotta make a plan. But Kakashi's over there in the water prison still barking at them to run away. Now, as much as I love Kakashi, he needs to shut his bitch ass up. Nigga, you're caught.
Right,
Focus
you
on
need
getting out
help.
the
It's
prison.
reversal.
Zabuza, uninspired by their determination, starts to hit us with an evil laugh. And this is when we learn how dark this man really is. Kakashi tells them that he had to kill his own classmates when he was a child just to pass his exam.
That's
and if
wild.
that wasn't shocking enough, this man says,
It felt so good.
He's
then
a
charges
true
at
villain.
Sasuke,
True.
knocking the air out of his chest. And to make sure he stayed down, he zooms back over to him and hit him with a Randy Savage level elbow drop.
Damn.
Cough up blood.
Oof.
Now he's got his foot on Sasuke's stomach, treating him like a bug. But Naruto, unlike Sakura, won't just stand there and watch him disrespect his comrade like that. So he boots up a bunch of shadow clones to surround him, whips out his kunai, and tries to jump him.
Get to
But
work.
with zero difficulty, Zabuza whipped all of them off of him and sent them flying. But Naruto is not finished yet.
Nope.
He pulls out a giant shuriken out of his bag and tosses it to Sasuke mid-slide, hits a little pose to farm some aura himself, then jumps up
Or
and
farming
beats
heavy.
that junk right at Zabuza. But not at the clone they're fighting. the real him. So Zabuza catches that junk out the air, but to his surprise, there was another shuriken headed his way. And with both hands occupied, he had no choice but to dodge it.
Absolutely.
But right as he jumped over, he looks back and sees that the shuriken that he dodged was actually Naruto.
Nice.
And now a kunai is zooming at him, ready to pierce his arm. So with the only options being to take the kunai in the
Or
arm
let him
move out the
go.
way, the assassin oddly chose not to take the blow. So thankfully for
Which is
Team 7, he
crazy.
moved his arm, freeing Kakashi from the water prison jutsu. Zabuza, now
Smart
enraged
plan.
that he got bested by a brat, tries to chuck a giant shuriken at him. But now that Kakashi's free, he has a whole nother problem on his hands. This man really blocked that giant shuriken with his bare hands. And look at the stare too. Oh, he ready to put belt to ass. Now Kakashi and Zabuza are just staring each other down until finally Kakashi flung the giant shuriken into the air and then they both jump back. All of a sudden, Kakashi and Zabuza start busting out the longest combinations of hand signs I've ever seen in my
remember
life.
this.
Talking about some
Alright.
after what felt like a millennium, they finally finished making their hand signs. Then we see them simultaneously boot up their water dragon jutsus. And now these two giant water dragons are going at it, while poor little Naruto is trying not to drown in the commotion. After both dragons defeat each other, Kakashi and Zabuza clash again. But this time Kakashi is somehow holding Zabuza's big ass sword off with his pinch
That's
kunai. They then
insane.
separate again, and now it's really clear to everybody on the battlefield what is going on. Zabuza hits his 1, 2, 3 eyes on me pose again, but so does Kakashi.
Kakashi's
And
on
that
that.
was when Zabuza realized he was witnessing the work of the goated copycat ninja. He then tries to weave hand signs so
Nope, he
fast
on
that he
that,
assumes
boy.
Kakashi can't see them. But then out of nowhere, this man sees himself standing beside Kakashi.
Yup.
Zabuza, now freaked out by his ghost, is quickly caught off guard when Kakashi boots up a water-style giant vortex jutsu. This jutsu left Zabuza too stunned to speak because this was the exact jutsu he was gonna perform.
He's ahead of
that
you.
man's jutsu so well he managed to execute it before he
That's
could. Now
wild.
Zabuza's getting thrashed around in the violent body of water, mildly destroying parts of the forest in the process. Zabuza's body finally catches a break and gets pinned to a tree, but to limit his movements, Kakashi stabbed him up with a bunch of kunai.
He's on it.
Zabuza,
I told
perplexed
you,
on how he
niggas
was able
not
to pull
playing.
out his moves before he could, demands to know if Kakashi can see into the future. But Kakashi doesn't give him the satisfaction of a real answer. Instead, he responds on some real fly shit, saying,
Yes, this is your last battle ever.
Woo, he's
"Let him go, Kakashi, let him
cooking.
go." But before he could get off any more slick remarks, this little girl appears out of nowhere and slices Zabuza's neck, putting him out in an instant. Kakashi quickly approaches the body and confirms that there is no vital signs. And
He
then the
knocked
girl
out.
tells them that she's been sent by her village to track Zabuza down and exterminate him. Naruto, now very upset that this little girl just took his kill, begins to throw a little tantrum, getting mad that she killed him so
He cried,
effortlessly.
baby.
But Kakashi stops the crash out and tells him that he is not their enemy. Now, there's no way anybody in their right mind would have thought this was a boy. Stop
Right.
playing. And I know you didn't either, right? Be honest. Haku then teleports down to Zabuza's body, picks him up, then vanishes into thin air, thus marking the end of this juicy encounter and Zabuza's life.
Yep.
Or so they thought. Overall, a peak way to kick off the first arc of Naruto.
Yup.
Zabuza gets an A. He was really looking like Timothy III for 90% of this fight. Not to mention the saucy pull-up in the beginning
was
to get us
smooth.
salivating. Kakashi, of course, gets an A. It could have been an A+ if he didn't get caught lacking so early by
True.
the water prison, but he definitely made up for it in the end. Naruto gets an A-. My boy really revitalized the team.
Yes, he
morale by
did.
getting his
Yes,
elite
he
ninja
did.
headband back. Plus, he was the one who formulated the plan to get Kakashi out.
Yep.
Sasuke gets a B-. I almost gave him a D just for
Yeah,
that
'cause he
stunt
almost
he
ended
pulled
one
in
day in
the
his
beginning.
life.
It's one thing to want to run away, but to try and off yourself, embarrassing.
Crazy.
And finally, Sakura and the bridge builder both get Fs. They
Yup.
literally did nothing the whole time. So with such weak performances, there's not much explaining that needs to be done.
No.
I don't really want to know.
Yes, sir. Another banger from Cage the Don, man. Make sure y'all follow him. This is really the kickoff to Naruto, OG Naruto itself, man. It's like the first major storyline, bro. For real, for real. But yeah, man, Kakashi is the GOAT, man. One of the GOATs of Naruto. I don't care what nobody says, man. This man be putting work in. Naruto, shout out to you with the big brain play, man. Get this man out the prison, water prison, jutsu. But we already know about Sakura. We ain't gonna talk about her. Come on, man. But this was tough. That was my reaction to when Zabuza almost bodied Kakashi. But Naruto and Sasuke immediately got back for their sensei. Before I end this, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Appreciate it, man. Hope everybody's a blessed day. I'm out. One love. Yeet.